What's up, guys? We're back to r/nuclear revenge. Got another 3 stories for you. And the first story is a fan posted story as well. So keep in mind, if you have your own story that you want me to read, just let me know in the comments below. Or better yet, let me know on my Twitter @FooBeer, and I'll make sure to read it in an appropriate episode for the story type. Alright, enough talk. Let's get right into the meat and potatoes with the 3 stories. See you in a bit. Stab my leg with a pencil? Special Ed has a spot just for you. Some context before we get into the nitty-gritty. I'm very short and innocent looking. A good student that has friends. So whenever I tell this story, the only way I can prove it is the scar on my leg and my second year friend. This took place in year 9. I go to school where most kids are considered sophisticated. I get to school early so we can have free time in the morning to do whatever we really want. Me and my close friend Z were playing around. He had his 3DS out and I propped my feet on him because we do this all the time. That's when Ricky came along. More context. Ricky's a student who's a teacher's pet and has no grasp on the emotions of others and loved to snitch on mundane things. At one point, he had picked on my friend who's autistic and in special ed, and she's very paranoid about new people now. Next thing I know, there's a pencil digging into my left ankle. I screamed and Z pushed Ricky away. Blood started to seep and Ricky ran from the scene. The injury wasn't serious, but I honestly hated Ricky. He messed with most of my friends and now messed with me. Of course, I reported him to the head principal of the school, and lo and behold, there it was on cameras. Not to mention a couple bystanders. But it didn't stop there. Oh, no. This a-hole had messed with the wrong person. I decided to also report it to the special ed teacher. We've known each other for a while, so talking to her wasn't abnormal. I told her everything, and she listened closely and nodded when I told her the details. Next day, he wasn't in any of my classes. Or the day after that. Or the day after that. 2 weeks go by and nobody had seen this kid. I talked to the special ed teacher and the topic of Ricky comes up. Apparently, he was placed in a special ed class. I'm not sure how special ed works, but apparently his parents had convinced the school that he was mentally unstable and had autism. And when he did this to a small and defenseless young man, everyone realized Ricky was a danger. Seeing him have to be with the same kids he hated felt nice. Z and I still joke about how awful it must have been for him to have to face the same kids he bullied every single day. Because to this day, he's still in special ed. TLDR, kid who hates special ed students stabs me with a pencil, so I get him sent to special ed for the rest of his school career. Well, it sounds like Ricky is probably exactly where he belongs to hopefully get the help he needs. Just curious what goes through your head to do something like that. Great story, my man. Also remember, guys, if you got your own story that you want read by me, just send it on over and I'll try to get it into an appropriate video. I got back at my bully in a big way. This happened 12 years ago, and some of the details have been lost to the ages, and some stuff might be exaggerated and or embellished, as stories get when they get told and retold for years. Now, with the necessary explanations out of the way, on to the story. Strap in. I tend to digress, so this is gonna be a long one. I was 12 years old, and I wasn't all that tall. I was wide and overweight. I also had one hell of a temper that I learned to control in a way so that, for the most part, I didn't react violently. But I reacted to most things regardless. It meant bullies loved picking on me. At this point, I had been bullied for years. It started out with classmates during the lower years until my mom got involved and all the parents were made aware of it, and my bullies stopped. Then In my first year in the middle grades, 4th to 6th grade, a guy 2 grades up saw me and immediately realized that I was a prime candidate for him getting to feel better about himself. He was as short as me and a complete geek. This guy started out using an old-timey insult for fat people. I had no clue he was trying to bully me. We had similar interests, so I thought he was trying to befriend me. This pissed him off a lot, and he went out of his way to make it clear that he was bullying me. Took me a fair bit of time to actually catch on. Over the years, he escalated. He grew in size. He got a following of friends, and they would use almost every recess, every single day, to follow me and bully me. I had gone to the teachers multiple times. My mom and dad had contacted the principal multiple times. Didn't work. My bullies usually retaliated with getting extra intense and physical too for a while every time. So I stopped doing it. Snitches get stitches, am I right? Now, my dad was getting very tired of this happening again and again. So he took me aside and gave me a lesson about defending myself that I shared in my second entitled parent story. He basically gave me a rundown on self-defense, told me explicitly never to start a fight, but it was alright to fight back and to end it. That violence should always be my last choice, etc. I took this to heart. This had been going on for 2 years by now. My mom had contacted the principal again. They were getting physical again. They had cornered me, and I tried to get away. They wouldn't let me. I was getting sick and tired of this, so I looked at him and I said he'd better stop now or he would regret it. Bully and his posse, of course, laugh. They don't believe a little fatty can do much. At this point, I am seething. I tried to get out again. They push me back, and that's when I explode. I jump on the main bully. He may be bigger than me, but he's still a skinny geek. I get him on the floor, and I start wailing on his face. Then, when he tries to fight back and push me off, I bite his hand so hard I hear crunching. Meanwhile, his friends are frozen, just staring at me. I also jumped on his chest. In the end, it took 3 teachers to pull me off. This kid had a broken nose, at least 2 broken ribs, a huge gash on his hand from my bite, which honestly could have killed him, you know, germs and all. I was suspended, duh, for a week, but escaped expulsion because these guys had tormented me for years, and the school had failed to stop them. According to what my dad told me, he had used that defense against the school and promised that if they expelled me, he would expose their failure to stop bullying for years to the media and all the parents. So yeah, that's the story. And as I said, I honestly don't know how much of this is exaggerated, but I got a feeling that the severity of the injuries might be one of the exaggerations. Yeah, things always do seem a bit larger than life when we're that young, but either way, that was a really good story. Given the fact that the bully probably wasn't that injured, I will say that that was a pretty good punishment for him. I mean, he really needed a taste of his own medicine. Am I the a-hole for participating in a home invasion? This happened roughly 11 years ago, but it was brought up on a recent camping trip with some of the people involved. One of my closest friend's missus at the time was raped by her regular weed dealer. When I say raped, I mean she had bruises around her neck from him holding her down and swelling around the face, what I assume was her fighting for her life, and then getting smacked around a bit. He finds this out later from a friend. Anyways, she didn't go to the cops. She didn't want anything to happen. She didn't even tell her partner, my mate. She only told her closest female friends. She refused to see my mate for almost 2 weeks, and obviously, he got super worried because she kept giving him some BS excuse not to see each other. So, he asked the friend she told if she mentioned wanting to break up. To cut to the chase, her friend ended up telling him what happened as long as he swore not to rat her out. He then went through her phone at some point, without her knowledge, knowing that's how she contacted her dealer, and found this bloke's address. He comes to me and a few other friends and tells us about all of the above. We all really like this Sheila, and personally, I'm very opinionated and confrontational when it comes to scumbags assaulting women and getting away with it. I'll be the first to admit that I get very hot-headed when it comes to things like this, and tend to act without thinking. My mate wanted to bash the bloke, but I didn't even think that was enough. I wanted to do something that he would remember for the rest of his life. My family owned a very small winery at the time, and as such, they needed a bolt-action rifle to protect their property from wildlife. They also had a few shotguns they didn't hand in during the buyback. I drove up, grabbed one of the shotties, and sawed the barrels off, as it was a huge inconvenience to carry and stood out too much. I came up with this plan to kick down his door in the middle of the night, us all wielding bats, and myself with the unloaded sawn-off. We are also visually an intimidating looking bunch, all of us over 6 foot, broad, and athletic. There were 6 of us. Anyway, the night comes and everything goes as planned. This guy is so scared, he is crying for forgiveness. He's still in bed with me holding the sawed-off against his chest. I distinctly remember telling him that if he didn't crap in his bed, that I was gonna pull the trigger. As well as the usual, if we ever hear anything like this again, we'll be back. He actually pissed and crapped in his own bed. We then took photos of him naked, covered in piss and crap, crying in his bed as extra collateral. Anyway, she never heard from him again. He never told her what happened, and I'm sure he thinks twice about doing it again. So am I the a-hole for participating in a home invasion? This wasn't allowed in Am I an A-hole, as it contains illegal activities. I really don't think you messed up there, buddy. It would just been nice if something worse would have happened to him. Like, I don't know, he got robbed or beaten up or something else, but it just sounded like he got a pretty bad scare, but just a scare nonetheless. Also, if you're wondering why he didn't call the cops, he explains that a little further down. It just wasn't relevant to the story, so I didn't read it. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap up our 3 stories. Now, no surprise to anyone, let's move on over to the bonus section, which today is going to be r/choosing beggars. Let's do it. Is this item still available? Yes. Great. Could I come pick it up today? No, thank you. Tomorrow then? Is it not for sale? I put it at 300 to see how the crabs would come. I'll take nothing under 800. People's greed is incredibly disgusting. Then you're just wasting your time and everyone else's. Enjoy your experiment. I am. Mine has been wasted too. Well, that's because you're inviting it. Wait, you guys thought you had to be a buyer to be a choosing beggar? Nay, good people. You can be a seller and be just as much of a scumbag. Used Apple Series 1. Apple Watch in great condition. Comes with 1 stainless steel watch, charger cable, 1 wristband, original box, and hard case. Open to trades or cash. You know you just want to gift that to me. I'll gift it to you for $175. But I'm a broke single mom. Will you stop thinking about yourself and just think of others for once? Obviously, she's a broke single mom, and an Apple Watch will definitely improve her quality of life. To anyone, refund policy. You must please bring original receipt and all of items within the same day of transaction for refunds. Thank you. I too like to eat a full ribeye before complaining that it is slightly overcooked and to get my money back. Hey, just finished making the banner. Nice, can I see it? 1 sec, I'm converting. Okay. Alright, here it is. Damn, that's nice. It felt nice making too. Thanks. Cool. Why is there a watermark on it? Can you remove it so I can see better? It's not hard to see. Once you pay me, I'll remove it. Pay? What? LOL. I thought you did this because you're nice. We agreed on the prices in advance, and you said it would not be a problem. What the heck, my dude? LMAO, this doesn't take long to make. It looks good. Please just give it to me for free. Yeah, I doubt that's happening. I'm charging 5, and you said yes. No way I'm giving this away.
Dude, you make me wait effing 5 days for this, and now you won't give it to me?
Are you serious?
See ya.
Maybe you should have just paid him in exposure. I don't know. I hear artists really like when you pay them that way nowadays. Hey, you sell PS4? Yeah, $250. I give lamp. No? I don't know why this guy's being so stingy about it. Maybe if he would have thrown in a couple bulbs, maybe a lampshade on top. I don't know, maybe the deal could have gone through. Alrighty guys, hope you enjoyed today's story, and I will see you again in the next one. Peace out.